The journey from Ash Wednesday to Easter morning is a pilgrim journey walked by millions of Christians every year. Despite the profound disruptions caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, both last year and this year, that pilgrim walk remains at the heart of our Christian year. The resurrection of Jesus is the cornerstone event in the Christian life, but there is no path to Easter except through Good Friday. No way to the empty tomb except through the harsh truth of the cross. Since the earliest days of the faith, disciples of Jesus have sought to understand the risen Christ through the lens of the story of the last days and hours of the life of Jesus. As early as the 4th century, pilgrims to the Holy Land would walk the path from the Garden of Gethsemane to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Recalling along the way the events of Holy Week, modern pilgrims follow the Via Crucis, the way of the cross, also known as the Via Dolorosa, the way of sorrows. A devotional path laid out more than 7 centuries ago in the holy city of Jerusalem. For Christians around the world, that walk is taken in their local church, around their local community, or even in the stillness and the silence of their own heart, through devotion and remembrance. By the 16th century, the tradition of praying at outdoor shrines commemorating Christ's passion was firmly established throughout Europe, although the number of moments to be remembered in Christ's walk to Golgotha varied from 7 falls to as many as 31 stations. Eventually, by the 17th century, the number of stations was fixed at 14. Most of the stations are based on events in the gospel narratives. Some have evolved from time-honored stories and traditions. Reformed Christians in the Protestant tradition avoided this devotional practice for centuries. In recent years, however, as more and more devotional practices of the ancient church have been recaptured, Reformed Christians have once again embraced this ancient devotional practice of Lent. This year, Fondren Presbyterian is offering 3 ways to walk this pilgrim path of the Stations of the Cross. First, the series of videos introduced here can be accessed and viewed at home and used as prompts for deeper personal reflection and devotion. One video for each of the 14 stations will offer the history, the story, and the place of that station in the story of Christ. Second, you may reserve a time to come and walk the Stations of the Cross here in the sanctuary. In addition to the videos, a written guide for each of the 14 stations will be available at the church. Due to the restrictions of COVID-19 precautions, we ask that you please reserve a time to come and walk in the sanctuary so that no more than 2 households are present at the same time. Finally, in addition to the written materials available for the walk here in the sanctuary, there will also be a map of 14 stations around the outside of the church. Now the beauty of spring has arrived. If you would like to come and walk the Stations of the Cross under the beautiful live oaks in front of the church on a spring afternoon, those stations will also be laid out. However you choose to walk this pilgrim path, it is our hope that recalling the last hours of the life of Jesus will give even greater depth of meaning and celebration to the triumph of life over death on Easter morning. May our feet lead us where our hearts long to go, in the footsteps of Christ, as we walk with him in his way of sorrow that leads us now and always to the joy of his resurrection.